criminal offence, okay? As a result of which, I've got your details, please.
My name's... Can I have your badge number first, please?
My badge number's out. You're not going to dictate to me what order this process happens in, okay? You've committed the offence, okay, of obstructing the highway or stepping into moving traffic, okay? So you are not going to dictate to me now the process, okay, how this is going to go.
I wasn't trying to.
Are you going to continue to interrupt me?
I just asked for your badge number and you haven't answered the question, and it's very threatening.
It's not threatening at all. I'm being assertive with you,
threatened.
Okay? You feel threatened.
Yeah.
You didn't feel threatened when you stepped out in front of us, okay?
Because the car was probably not even 5 miles.
You didn't even look to your left. You put straight in front of that Range Rover.
Well, I did look because I saw it was crawling.
But you still walked across the path of a moving vehicle that's got right of way on a public highway.
I thought this light was red. I'm not in a car. I don't know how this junction works. I don't drive.
We stopped.
That there will be illuminated.
Yeah, but I was confused as to why the car was going so slow. Because it had... What's that?
To turn right because of oncoming traffic.
I didn't know that. I can't see how the junction works as a pedestrian.
As a pedestrian, you need to be savvy and be switched on yourself. Because like I say, if it wasn't the fact that it was a police car here, because we were waiting to a red light, if that was any other vehicle, they would have gone. And like I've said to you, you'd have been on the floor.
I was looking, but both cars were going slower than I expected. That's like...
You still crossed when it was green. And like I've said, just listen to what I'm saying. Actually, we've stopped you to give you some safety advice.
Yep.
Your attitude and everything else is, I don't give a fuck. That's what it comes across to me.
Straight away, excuse me, you'll respond to us, what? So don't talk to us about attitude, okay? Don't try and get on the
You shouted at me straight away.
Yeah. Excuse me, because knowing that you've done wrong, you carried on and tried to walk on. Is it unreasonable if you step out in front of a police car that they may want to speak to you?
I didn't know the police car was not going to stop as I couldn't see the light because...
If you can't see it, you shouldn't be stepping out in the first instance. It's basic highway code. How old are you?
I'm 16.
You're 16.
So if I can't see that light...
16 years of that, you can't see that light. That light there is irrelevant, okay? Because this light here tells you when you can and can't go.
And they're also on that side as well.
Green,
on both sides, look. They're both red to say stop.
Yeah.
When you're to go, it's to go green. You need to be aware of these signs yourself.
Okay.
We, as drivers, look at these. Yeah?
Yep.
So next to me was a great big Range Rover. I couldn't see you waiting there because of where I was in the driver's seat. The first time I saw you was when you were in the middle of the road.
Okay.
This is what I'm saying to you. If it wasn't for the fact that we'd just gone off red to green and I was pulling off to go, that was the first time I saw you.
I thought there was separate lights down there or something. I'm not in a car.
I've literally moved that much forward.
What's your first name, please?
Josh. The 29th of the 7th, 2003.
And your home address. Is that in Squad?
Yep. I thought by the time that's like, I don't know how long that is, like 30 metres.
Regardless of what you thought, green and red are very distinctive, okay? It's an international signal, okay?
I know, but I was confused. I didn't know what was happening.
Don't be confused with the green and red sign, okay? You can be argumentative all you like, okay?
I'm not trying to be. The cars were going slower than... I come across this CrossFit...
Do you know what would be better, Joshua? If you just went, I'm sorry.
Your colleague asked me to stop interrupting and now you're interrupting.
Do you know what? Like I've said to you, your attitude from start to even now, if you just go, I'm sorry. Because like I said, the reason we stopped you, to give you some advice on your safety, because the last thing I want to be doing is scraping you up off the floor and having to go and tell your mum and dad that you're dead because of a decision that's been made. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's about being savvy, it's about knowing your surroundings. Looking after number one, because these drivers, like I said, people do all manner of things. They're on their mobile phone, they're speeding, whatever. So instead of what and trying to give a reason and justification as to why you've done it, just say, I'm sorry.
But there is a reason for it. I could see both cars. The Range Rover...
So as a
driver... You saw both cars. That car's in motion, so why would you step in front of a moving vehicle?
It looked like it was slowing. I couldn't tell if it was accelerating, slowing. It looked like it was slowing to me, and you were matching its speed.
You're saying you can see it, and you can't tell if it's slowing or accelerating. You're talking absolute lies now.
I'm not, because I had enough time to cross, so I got across. D110SW. I had enough time to cross, so
And who do you live at that address with?
my parents and my siblings.
Okay. And what's your parents' name?
Full names and Sean Lee Knighton.
And what's your dad's contact number?
I don't know. I don't even know if I have it. I didn't see either car as a threat.
But even so, yeah,
Okay.
you have stepped out into a moving traffic lanes when we're on green.
Right.
Pedestrians, that's a no-no, regardless. We don't have to stop for you. You stop for us.
It looked like you were stopping.
I was moving off. Both of us was moving off.
We're actually accelerating. So do yourself a favour, stop telling lies, okay? If you
Okay.
can't behave properly, yeah, and you can't be a decent person, don't come to Burton.
Alright.
Because you carry on acting like this, man. Smirk all you like.
Okay.
If you want, I'll put you in the car and we'll take you to your parents. We'll have this discussion and we'll start serving you with community protection warning, shall we? Banning you from going places.
For crossing a road when I'm confused
No.
whether the car is accelerating or decelerating, but I still had enough time to cross.
Well, you didn't because you caused the vehicle to stop.
But-
So we've proved, haven't we, that, and your attitude stinks.
Did I cause the Range Rover to stop? I didn't see.
No,
I
the
didn't
Range
look
Rover
back.
was waiting to turn right. You
Right.
assumed because he was waiting to turn right that everyone was stopping for you.
I didn't.
And that's what we
I
have
didn't-
because we were moving off.
Well, I didn't know he was turning right, so I couldn't have assumed that.
Indicators were like,
And
He
this
wasn't
is where,
indicating.
Looking as a
your level of
pedestrian,
immaturity, okay? I'm questioning whether you should even be out on your own.
At what point can I have your badge number and
It's
your
right
name?
there, 5327.
And what's your name?
5327 Cotton.
Okay, thank you. And yours is.
2482 Buckle, both Staffordshire Police.
Okay, thank you. I'm not trying to be cheeky or anything. The cars look like they were slowing. I paid, like, one of my main interests is cars. I look at every car on the road. It looked like it was slowing. And I thought, I don't know, I just looked up, saw the traffic lights, and thought, okay, they're on red. I was a bit confused as to why you
just
only
said
went from that point to that
You can't see them
point.
on red because you can't see them.
And I just said I assumed they were on red because I saw the back of the traffic
So
lights.
tell me then, what would have happened in a different scenario?
Well, the car wouldn't have time to hit me. It was.
No, but in this lane here, which the lane I was in, which I keep talking about, someone could have been accelerating.
Yeah, but I could see your car.
You couldn't because I was moving off.
Which goes to show that if you can see the car, it's a deliberate act stepping in front of it, isn't it?
Yeah, but I assumed it was stopping because it was going at such a slow speed. And if it's coming
Couldn't lie
towards me,
straight in bed.
And do you know what would happen as well, Josh? And this is something to take away and think about. You assumed. You stepped out in front of two moving vehicles because you assumed this. If I'd hit you, or a vehicle had hit you, you'd be liable.
okay, and I accept that. But there's a white line there. I thought the car's going to stop. There's traffic lights.
We're going round and round in circles. You as a pedestrian, me as a pedestrian, when I'm
Yeah.
not in a vehicle, I have my own self-responsibility. You have responsibilities to read the road and look at stuff. You've said and changed your story. You can't see the lights, but then you said you saw it on red. So you've changed it twice.
I never said I
You-
saw the lights on red.
You,
I have it on.
did. I've got it on my body cam.
Me too.
Yeah, and you
I
have.
can't see the lights.
So, in terms of the pedestrians here, you've got three there. So, at the minute, red, the little man and the right says no crossing. When it goes to green, that's when you cross.
Okay.
Yeah, it would have been on red because my lights were green on the other side.
Okay.
So, for you as a pedestrian, you need to be checking either side for when it's able to cross.
As
And
I-
I'll go back to it. The ultimate reason to stop you was to give you safety advice. But
Okay.
because your attitude has been so bad, we've ended up in this altercation, haven't we? Ultimately.
I just asked for your badge number for my.
You-
No,
like I said,
you went,
your response is
what?
what?
What would
when
you like
the
my
police spoke
response
to
to
start
be?
with, you've carried on. Excuse me, yes. Not what. I'm sure your parents haven't brought you up with that kind of ill manners.
Well, I could say you spoke to me rudely. It's
No, I've been
all
assertive with you,
interpretation.
okay?
There's no set in stone fact as to what's rude and what's not.
Right, do you
You're
know what?
argumentative now,
We're just going to go around in circles here. I'd like you to go home and have a good think about this conversation, and maybe in the future you might change your tack on how you speak to police officers, because actually it's bang out of order of how you're speaking. And like we said, when we shouted excuse me to get your attention, you've carried on walking, so when we shouted it again, you turn around and go, what?
We're equals, and I didn't say what in a rude way. The way
yes,
you
you
said
did.
excuse me was really aggressive,
Because
and
we had to do it
was
twice.
shouting you twice because you ignored the first one.
I didn't
Okay?
assume it would be at me. Why would I
I
assume?
suggest you need to get some maturity and learn about people being assertive and aggressive. You can try and throw it back at us that we've been aggressive, okay? It's called being assertive.
Okay.
When we deal with children like yourself that can't behave, we are more assertive.
Okay.
Stop being argumentative. You're smirking now.
I have the most neutral facial expression I could. How am I smoking? I'm just stood here listening
Ultimately,
to
you've
what you're
stepped
saying.
into a live lane. You've blocked the flow of traffic deliberately, okay? It's an obstruction of the highway,
Okay.
contrary to the Road Traffic Act, okay? You've committed the offence, not us.
Yep.
Now disappear. Your parents will be hearing of us.
Okay.
I don't want to see you in birds. I want you to go straight home now. Because if you're going to cause problems to the police, I know that for a second, you're going to go on and try and aggravate somebody else.
I'm trying to get the bus.
Off you go.
Thank you very much.